Sup, I'm Bianca, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can always see when I'm uploading. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how to achieve this makeup look. I've seen a bunch of videos on YouTube lately where people go to the best or the worst reviewed makeup artists in their city, and a lot of the time it's just a waste of money going to makeup artists because they might not necessarily know how to do the look you want, or they're just terrible. So I want to help you guys be able to do the makeup you want. So this is going to be a little tutorial on how you can do a basic look and then change colors or add little things to make it the way you want. I've had quite a lot of you ask how I do my colored eyeliner in my covers, so I'm going to show you that after I show you the basic look that I usually just do. So I hope you guys get something out of this. If you do end up trying a variation of this look, please send me a photo. I'd love to see it. But let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Please welcome Gollum. Alright guys, I'm just going to quickly preface this by saying I do have my Invisalign in, so if my teeth look a bit weird and shiny, that's why. My skin is also pretty gross at the moment, but you know what? That's just going to show what makeup can do. So let's get started so we can cover this. Alright, to start off with, I'm just going to use a primer. This is Australis, the original one. I usually get the one that they have for bad skin, but they didn't have it at the time. So I'm just using this one now. So I'm just putting it all over my face and my eyes. For foundation today, I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix in NC15. I usually use the Pro Longwear foundation, but I'm running low on that and I'm not going anywhere today, so I figured I'd just use this. This is good. It's got more coverage, but it doesn't last quite as long. The Pro Longwear just like sticks on my face all day and I don't really have to touch it up at all, so that's why I really like that one. So I put that on a damp beauty blender and then just pat that and then just cover the mess that is my face. Yes! What's depressing is that we're going into winter and I'm already so pasty that I probably should be mixing white in with this, but for today I'm just going to use it like this. And especially today I'm going to blend this. I'm going to blend this down because like I just said, it's a bit too dark for me. So we want to make sure we don't have an orange face and a white neck. So you can use a brush if you want, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever you like to apply with. I just like a beauty sponge because it tends to kind of press it into your skin and make it look a little bit more natural, although I do tend to cake face quite a bit. But we want to make that cake face look as natural as possible. Now I'm going to move on to concealer, and this is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15. I really like this. I haven't really tried that many other concealers or foundations for that matter for a very long time because these just work really well for me, and I find that whenever I try new things, like the eyebrow pencil I'm going to be using today, it tends to disappoint me. So, you know, why switch up something that's doing well? So I've just put a bit on my sponge and I'm going to go, first of all, under my eyes, just dab it a little bit. On either side of my nose and then on all these big ass pimples. And I'm just dabbing. If I need any more, I'll take a bit from under my eyes just to make sure that I get all those spots as much as possible. And then I'm gonna go under here and blend this out so that under my eye is really nice and bright, and then over my eyelids as well. I always do this funny thing with my mouth where I'm like, I mean, I have to do it there, but boom. Now to set that, I'm going to use my MAC Studio Fix powder in, you guessed it, NC15. And I like to use this airbrush buffing brush from Models Prefer. And I just press the powder in with that. And I know some people don't like to set their eyelids before they do their eyeshadow, but I just find it's easier to blend eyeshadows if it's all kind of powdery. But look, each to their own. If you want to keep it tacky, then you do you, girl or boy. Alright, and we are done. Perfect. Ready to go out. Can you imagine? Wow. So now we want to get some shape into this moon face. I'm going to use an angled fluffy brush, and as we can see I'm running quite low, but this is an Inglot contour powder that I really like. It's not too warm, which is ideal because if you have too much of a warm toned contour color, you can look a little bit orange, and that's not a vibe. So I'm just gonna go under my cheekbone and down, just around my cheek, just down here. So we look nice and like, so we look like we don't ever eat, but just in our face. I find just doing that little dip just tends to give you like kind of apples on your cheeks, which looks quite nice. But again, it completely depends on your face shape. So these are things that you just need to play around with. I go up onto my temples up here, around the top. Sometimes I do up here. And then because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to get another brush, I just squeeze this bad boy and make it nice and skinny, and then go down either side of my nose. The best way to get a really skinny nose is to go like closer into the center. Because if you leave too much of a gap down the middle that's lightly colored, it will actually make your nose look really wide. Boom. I don't go too over the top with my contouring. I mean, unless I'm doing, say, like a video or a photo shoot or something, because in real life it can look a little bit crazy. So I'm just doing under my jaw as well to make it look like I have no double chin. And that's how I add some shape to a previously white blob. Moving on to blush, I'm going to use this Inglot Pink blush on a fluffy blush brush, and I'm just going to put that on the apples of my cheeks and then up towards my temple. And it's always good to go kind of more up than down. You don't want to have your blush down there because then it draws your face down. So we want to lift it up and make ourselves look super young. Okay, so I like to put my highlighter on before I do my eyebrows because I don't like getting shiny stuff on top of my eyebrows. So I'm going to use two highlights from this Chi palette. It's cheap, but like, to be honest, I've got this Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter that does not compare. It's like so lackluster, it's ridiculous. And this is amazingly bright. So I'm going to mix rose quartz with diamond. I'm going to go right up on top of my cheekbone. Yes. And then I saw that Rihanna's makeup artist does this thing where she goes in this kind of fancy 7 shape on the brow bone and then up like this, and I was like, well, if Rihanna does it, then I need to do it. And then on the other side, then I'll put a little bit on the tip of my nose and then down the center and on me Cupid's bow. So now I move on to brows, and this is probably the worst eyebrow pencil I've ever used. Barely gets through one eyebrow before you need to sharpen it again, and that's really annoying. It's super soft, it's not very pigmented, but look, I bought it. I'm just gonna have to deal with it for now and then go over with some powder, but like, this is honestly the worst. I think it's a, what is it, Maybelline shaping pencil. It's terrible. I don't have any other dark brow pencils that go with my dark hair, but yeah, I would highly recommend not getting this because it's just a waste. Of course, I have to pre-sharpen this. I'll show you how much it goes down. It's so stupid. So as you can see, it's nice and sharp. Let's do this thing. And I'm not pressing hard either. Look at that, it's like basically down to a nub. And it doesn't show up very dark either. Like, oh, I have to sharpen this again. This product's quite waxy, so if you don't set it and say you like accidentally brush your eyebrow, then you will probably have your eyebrow move around your head. Oh God, this is just, it's just the worst. All right, and then what I like to do is just highlight my mole because right now it just looks like a gigantic pimple, and that is not the look I'm going for. So like I said, I'm going to set this. I'm going to use one of my Inglot brown eyeshadows. This is just a matte eyeshadow. And this really thin little angled brush. I'm going in with that dark brown. I'm just going to fill in where I put the pencil. All the waxiness is getting on my brush and then into my eyeshadow. So frustrating. And I'm just gonna brush these just to make them look a little less flat on my face. that will have to do for them. Alright, now we get to the fun part, which is the eyes. So, like I said in my intro, this is meant to be a look that you can kind of customize for whatever event you're going to or whatever you're doing. So this is generally what I will do, and then I'll just change colors or add some glitter, etc, etc. Now obviously every eye shape is different and every face shape is different, so you just need to practice and play around with what looks best with your eyes. But this is just a basic kind of overview of what I personally do, and you can take from that what you want. So I'm going to start off with a matte white eyeshadow. This is again from Ingler, but any matte white eyeshadow will do. However, I would say that investing in good quality eyeshadows is a really good idea, especially the basics like a white, a transition shade, and like a dark shade. They're really good to have good quality that's going to stay there and not just kind of blend away. So that's just what I would recommend. So I start with my white eyeshadow on a little fluffy angled brush, and I'm just gonna go on my brow bone just under my eyebrows, and there's still a tiny little bit of that sheen from the highlight there, which is good. Then I'm gonna take a little pencil brush, and with that same white I'm just gonna go in the inner corner here, and that will open your eye up and make it look brighter and bigger. So really cute, my camera just ran out of memory and I didn't realize, but I'm going to take you through what I've just done. So I've taken a kind of medium brown shade. I'm using the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette for today, and I'm using Musk. I've taken that on a fluffy blending brush and just gone right where my crease is and into the center and blended it out into kind of like a wing shape, and then down to the corner of my eye, and then underneath. So I find that if you don't put any eyeshadow underneath, which a lot of people tend to do, it actually closes your eyes and makes them look a lot smaller. But if you do put stuff underneath, it tends to make your eyes look bigger. On me anyway. So I always make sure that I put color underneath my eye as well as on top. So that just needs to all be nicely blended out. I go out about as far as the end of my eyebrow and just make sure that that's nicely blended. Then I'll go in with a deeper color, and for today I'm going to be using OUD, which is this dark brown color, on a slightly smaller blending brush, and I'm going to take on the tip, tap off any excess, and then I'm going to start on the outer corner and just blend my way in. I don't want to go up as high as the other shade that I had. Otherwise we're going to look like we were punched in the face, and unless that's the look you're going for, we don't want that. Little by little, I just like to build up that color, make sure it's blending nicely. So again, I'm going to blend into that corner and just bring it down to where my lash line is and kind of drag it out a little bit. Just a little, so it kind of makes that nice cat eye effect. And then I also take it underneath a bit just to deepen up, especially the outer corner. Then if you want to make it a little bit more of an intense shadow, you can just get that same color on a pencil brush and just go right in that crease area and just define that a little bit more with the pencil brush, because that'll give you a little bit more payoff for the color. And I usually just do that right in the corner. And then right under the lash line, just under here towards that tear duct area. So we have a nice gradient from dark to light. And then I take the blending brush that I used to put the color on before and just make sure that that's all nicely blended in. So once all of that is nicely blended, then we can look at our eyelids. Now if you're wearing an outfit with a certain color, you might want to put that color eyeshadow over your eyelid. For today though, I'm just going to do a neutral color because I'm going to use a colored eyeliner later. So I'm just going to use Desert Sand on a little flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to go all over that eyelid, just kind of blending it into that darker area. So I don't want to go over it because that'll get rid of some of that deepness that I want to keep, but I go up to my crease, down to the lash line, and then just blend it over into that corner a little bit. And you can always use a concealer underneath the color that you're putting on here as well if you want more of a defined crease, but I cannot be bothered to do that, so I'm just going to put this straight on. like so. So now we're gonna move on to eyeliner. Now this is something that a lot of people have trouble with. So I'm gonna show you how I do it. Hopefully that helps when you're doing it, but this is something that you just need to practice, especially with different eye shapes. Certain wings and things like that will look good on different eyes. So I'm using the NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner. I really like this and it's not heaps expensive. So I start in the middle of my eye, right on my lash line, like this, so that I don't have a giant glob of product anywhere. And then I start to move towards the inner corner, keeping it really small. And then I kind of just, then I make it as thick as I want. And then move towards the outer edge, filling that in. Then what I do, grab a little bit more. I personally like quite a big wing, and I go from the corner of my eye and to the direction of the end of my eyebrow like this. So I'll do a line, a straight line, like that. And then I join that line to the rest of the eyeliner. And I like to make sure that I look into my mirror straight ahead as well to make sure it's not doing anything crazy. So it's looking pretty good so far. Then you just fill it in and do any adjustments. The key is just doing a little bit at a time. And then on the other side, starting in the middle. I also like to look down into a mirror. It just makes it a little bit easier placing the eyeliner, and it also doesn't get as much onto your eyelashes. And you basically just want to kind of compare each eye and make sure that you're doing the same amount of thickness on both sides. So once you've done your initial line, just check that they're kind of on the same angle, because you can still fix it if you need. That looks pretty good to me. And then you just want to join it like on the other side. You just want to take your time with it. And make sure you fill in right up to the lash line, because you don't want any little holes of eyeshadow popping through. Okay, that looks pretty even, I think. And there we have our winged liner. Depending on what eyeliner you have as well, make sure it dries before you open your eyes so you don't get any transfer of the liner onto your eyelid, because that is super frustrating. For me, I like to have black eyeliner in my waterline. I find that my eyes actually look bigger when I have that as opposed to without. I know a lot of people like to put white in there, but for me, that just looks a bit weird. So I like to go with black and put that in the waterline. And I kind of like to smudge it down a little bit, and I do the top as well. And this is the kohl pencil from Inglot. Oh my god, do I look cute? So if you just wanted a neutral smoky look, you could stop at this and then put on your mascara. But I figured I would show you guys how I do my colorful eyeliner, since I've had so many comments on my cover videos. I'm going to use pink today. This is one of the SOOOO Beauty Hydro Liners. These are freaking awesome. This is in the color Scrunchy. And basically, these are water activated, so I filled up this old Fix Plus with water. So you just spray it with water, grab a small eyeliner brush, and mix it around until you have a nice consistency. And these are really cool, they're UV as well. So if you go out somewhere and there are black lights, you are gonna shine. So that's nicely covered. Now this is scary because you've got to be really precise with this. I'm just gonna go on the top half and then underneath. So let's see how this goes. So I'm just gonna go right above that black to the end of my eyelid. And if you mess it up, you can just go over with the black later. Which I'm definitely going to have to do. But how cool is that color? And now I'm gonna do the same thing under my wing on the outer corner. Just like that. Now I gotta try and do it on the other side. So I'm just doing a little triangle in here so it ends neatly. So much stress. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm just gonna quickly fix up those little bits that just went a little bit wobbly with my black. And we are done with the eyeliner. So now we can move on to eyelashes. So I'm just gonna use this false lash fiber thing from, where is this from? L'Oreal. You can obviously use whatever mascara you want. Just make sure that your lashes are nicely covered. Make sure you get the bottom lashes as well. 99% of the time I can't be bothered putting on eyelashes, and today is no exception. But if you wanted to do that, you could go ahead and put them on right now. Personally, I'm going to skip that step and just go on to finishing my makeup. So now what I'll do is grab my powder and just use the little sponge that comes with it, and just make sure that under my eyes is nice and bright. If you have any fallout, just make sure you sweep it away with a powder brush. And then anywhere else where you might have blemishes, I just like to reinforce that powder situation. And last but not least, lipstick. I'm going to use Marshmallow by Lime Crime. This is one of their velveteens, one of my favorite colors. And because I have tiny baby lips, I like to overline them. Gotta try not to get any on my Invisalign because that would not be cute. And that is our completed look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions on what I did to my face, please let me know down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because that really helps my channel. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!